I am. You alright? You having a good day? Awesome. Right. There we go. So, my name's Gareth. I've been a scare actor for, this will be my 5th year now within the industry. And essentially today I'm just going to be talking about my experiences so far. I still consider myself as a bit of a newbie, a bit of a noob, a rookie, whatever you want to call me. So, I just want to go through what I've experienced, how I got started, my sort of inspirations, and yada yada yada. Before I go on, I just want to say massive thank you to Michael Bolton for letting me have the opportunity to speak today, and also for Pete Cliff from Alton Towers. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have got started in this industry, and I think he's wandered off. Has he gone? He's coming back.
One job, Pete. One job.
One job. Well, you're filming it, Quinny, so you'll be able to see it on YouTube later. So, what am I talking about? Sometimes I get confused. I need to know what I'm talking about. So, how I got started, attractions and experiences so far, advice to fellow newcomers. Are there any other newcomers in here? Anyone else wanting to get interested in the industry? I've got a few at the back. Awesome. Where are we going to go next? Who knows? And there will be a chance for questions at the end. If we're running a bit over, just find me out there somewhere. Just pull me along to one side and just ask me whatever you want. So, how did I get started? Initially, I was terrified of going anywhere near an attraction. If I was going out with some friends and there was a scare attraction, they said, "Oh, do you want to come in?" I would have kindly told them to naff off. And I said, "No chance. I'm not going anywhere near that with a 50-foot barge pole." But that thankfully changed. So my first audition was in 2011, audition for Alton Towers Scarefest. That's where I'm currently employed as an interactive performer. As I should have said earlier, I'm quite nervous for this, but if I can lead a treasure hunt of 40-odd children packed to the rim with sugar after a day on a theme park, I can do this. So, fingers crossed. So, first audition was 2011. I didn't get it, unfortunately. However, that was mainly due to my availability at the time. So, nothing negative on my ability. So, went back to working on the rides as I did. Started studying YouTube videos because I wanted to learn more about the industry. So, started off with Mr. Georgiadis towards the back. And then that's a little woo. So I started watching his YouTube videos of other attractions throughout the world, including Horror Nights, stuff in Europa Park, just so I can keep learning and learning and learning more about the industry. The second audition was in 2012. I got that one. Hey! So that led me on to my first gig. I'll come on to that in a moment. And then I went into my first scare maze in 2013. So that's where I went into the Sanctuary at Alton Towers. And because I knew all the actors, I kind of got picked on a lot. I won't go into what happened. So, the journey begins. Go from the start and then we get to where we are now. So, zombies. That's where I first started off. I was in the zombie scare zone. There we are. There we are. They're very popular zombie scare zone. Picture down here, if you can see the little laser pointer, that's how we first started off on our little press night. Well, not press night, the preview night for the staff. We all started off fairly clean zombies. And then we just got really horrible and disgusting towards about 3 days after. We were encouraged to roll around in the dirt, do whatever we wanted. Whoops. This is live, this is not edited. So, but with the zombies, when it came to ScareCON for the first one the following year, 2013, our show captain for zombies was Katie Hastings, and she mentioned that being a zombie is the hardest role you can do, because everyone is the same character, there's no letting up whatsoever. And to be honest, with me going straight in as a newbie, I've not been trained in any performing arts, I found it difficult. I was shaking. There were people around me who have done this for years, and I'm like, I shouldn't be here. But we all put together, we're a family. At the end of the day, the scare industry, we are one massive family. We all talk to each other, we all network. But the things I learned how the beginnings, like the scare tactics, that everyone uses, and I've sort of developed from there. I've also learned that the best way to talk to a woman is not to sneak up behind her and growl in her ear, because then you get a massive slap. And that really hurt. Another experience, I thought I'd try to be clever one night. I think, do you know what, it would be a good experience to jump over this box to get in front of a group. No, I tripped over the box and ended up going to A&E. Thanks, Mackenzie. Yeah, Mackenzie, I had to wait until the end of the night so Mackenzie could take me to A&E in Stoke. We were there so long that Domino's refused to serve us because they couldn't be bothered to send it outside the door. I don't know. Still like Domino's though, they're okay. So, moving on from zombies, even more zombies. I heard of a lovely thing called 2.8 hours later. Has anyone done it? Yeah? Yeah, Mr. Georgiadis as well. Yeah, in a minute. So I first heard about 2.8 hours later, and I thought, you know what, I've done a zombie before, I'll give this another go. So me and a friend of mine, we went over to Nottingham, did their audition, got through, and then he bailed on me last minute. So I had to do it on my own, travelling to Nottingham, staying over for the night, all on my own. So, got made up, like that, with professional makeup artists, really, really good experience, and then found out that for most of the time I was lying under a car. That picture's actually on Google. I was surprised when I found that. I was like, oh my god, I'm on Google, I've made it. But obviously, because there was cobbles, it was actually in a proper street. One really great thing, I was lying under that car, pretending to be dead, and a random passerby walks past going, are you alright, mate? Are you alright? I was like, I can't really talk, I'm a zombie. I'm meant to be dead, but there's a group coming, so please, go away. So, yeah, great night, chasing people, and then for some reason, that guy appeared. Anyone recognise him? It's Rick Grimes. Mr. Georgiadis. Yeah, he was filming his Rejects of the Apocalypse series, and if you've seen it, I was the one that killed Rudolph. The guy dressed up as a reindeer, it was me, so I ruined Christmas for that year. This guy's a recurring feature in this presentation, by the way. He does crop up a lot. So after that, networking and ghosts. So, networking, I attended my first ScareCON. Again, I was brand new into this. I'd only done, as I said, 2 things. I was terrified. I was going into a world where everyone knew what they were talking about. I'm like, I don't even know where I'm going, what am I doing, who am I talking to? It was in Islington, I've never been that part of London. I was like, where the hell am I going? But I knew people from Zombies, I knew Mackenzie, and then she introduced me to those at PUP, Sarah and Lee, then I met up with Michael, and then it just went going on from there. That's the joy of ScareCon. You start talking to people, it snowballs out of control, and people will just talk to you left, right, and centre. It's an amazing experience. And then with the ghosts, I was part of the vigil. That was they don't want to do the vigil. Yeah. Yeah, if you've seen Scare Room 5, another one, Mr. Georgiadis, where the beer can flies off, that was me. Making Steve Allerton scream like a little girl, and Mikey Johnson clinging onto him for dear life. Where's Mikey? There, hi Mikey. that was fun. Just waiting for people to leave the room, throw random things, and then I was also the one that threw the snooker cue at you guys. Sorry, that was me. But it was great fun. That was awesome. One thing I would take away to this, don't know if he's in here, but Dom B from Zombie Survival Weekender, don't trust him in a dark room, because after the event we were just wandering around. He hid behind a sofa and pushed it as hard as he can. As I walked past, I crapped myself. I was like, what the fuck? Oh, Dom. Damn it. But yeah, brilliant experience. And there they are. The resident Ghostbusters. Moving on, Rabid and Infected. So, moving on from that, I auditioned for the following Scarefest at Alton Towers. It's my local. I live in Stoke-on-Trent. So I became a part of the Phalanx with Nemesis Subterra. Woo! Woo! Thanks, Quinny. So, Subterra is the prequel to the Nemesis ride. Sort of, it adds to the story so that the Phalanx have found this nest of eggs. Something's hatched, broken out, and infected all the operatives. And yeah, that was me. Looking very glamorous. Yeah, there's piercing eyes now, I don't like it. But yeah, great experience. What I learned from that is how to operate in a strobe maze. I'd never operated in with anything to do with strobes, so it was very interesting to get a gauge of how close you can get to your guest between each strobe, because they're going, it's like blip, 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 blip. And then if you get too close, they've actually run into you. So that's how I found. And also, you also lose where your guests are. So I remember one experience, I jumped out at one guest, I saw him in one strobe and he disappeared the next. I was like, where the hell have you gone? He was actually down on the floor. He was that scared, he just dropped. Also, I learned that getting punched in the face whilst wearing a gas mask hurts. It hurts a lot. And I had a pounding headache for the rest of the day. Then I realised Andrew Georgiadis was coming back round in the next group. That made it a lot better. Another experience is in a bit of downtime, we just unwind, and then one of the ride ops, bless him, he came around, you know, these trolleys that you can get where you put your shopping in, he just came around the maze going, would you like anything off the trolley? We just kept doing that. We made a really good bond between us actors and the ride staff, so they keep us informed of everything what was going on. We tell them what was going on if there are any incidents, and that's the joy of it. Everyone works together. We're all, as I said, one big happy family. There we go. Taking some responsibility. So the following year, I still started off Alton Towers, and then I left. I left partway through the season to pursue another job, which didn't work out, so I came back. I went back. But in that time, I was approached by PUP events, well, more specifically Sarah, who's sitting over there, and that was to be part of EVAC. Oh, hello. Sounds like the M25 out there. I might add the award-winning EVAC, as we found out at last year's SCAR Awards. And I was asked if I could show captain. So I was in charge of the group of actors. They were constantly coming up to me asking for, would this work, can you do my makeup? I was like, I've not done anyone else's makeup before, but I'll give it a go. I accidentally got some fake blood in one guy's eye. Not very pretty. Big things I've learned from EVAC is to keep a level head if things start getting panicky, if people are coming up randomly, just remain calm and all that. Because if the top is panicking, then everyone else is going to be like, yeah, we don't know what we're doing either. And the big thing I learned is if you're going to bang on a door, yeah, Sarah, you know what's coming. If you're going to bang on a door, don't miss the door frame as I did. Because I've now come up with a saying, every scare attraction you work with becomes a part of you. In my case, literally, because I missed the door frame and went straight through a pane of glass in front of a guest. So it's a case of bang, bang, smash, yeah, get out. Just go. Close the door. I didn't know because I had loads of paint and fake blood on my hands, so I didn't know anything was amiss. I said, yeah, I'm fine, didn't feel anything. Oh, that's running. Get your phone out. Sarah, can you stop batching, please? Where's the toilet? So, yeah, and I think Sarah sort of panicked because, and also Amanda was upstairs in another scene. She thought something had smashed us because it was a haunted building, so we thought something major happened, but no, it was just me being an idiot and breaking a window. So now they've replaced it with Perspex, so it'll never happen again. But yeah, EVAC, fantastic experience. I learned so much from that, and especially working with PUP, who unfortunately disbanded about a couple of weeks ago, but it was such a great experience. Which moved on to my biggest role yet, and that was with Terror of the Towers at Alton Towers last year. New improved route, I loved it. Did anyone come through? Yeah, woo! It was brilliant. Did you enjoy it?
It was fantastic.
Cheers, Pete. Yeah, so there we all are. That's us motley bunch. It was awesome. We all gelled together because people keep saying that Terror of the Towers is cursed. Every year something major happens, from illnesses to people getting really hurt to anything. And we just gelled together like one massive family, and we pulled together no matter what. It was awesome. And then seeing, this is my first scare maze I've ever worked in as well. First one ever. So I was nervous. I'd only done scare zones, but working in this, having guests coming through every 90 seconds, meant I had to be faster, I had to improve on my scares, I had to be more impactful, more sustained, everything. And it's just a big, massive challenge, but because we had everyone supporting each other, it made it so much easier. But it's experiences from that. We have a little tradition at Scarefest, is that when we have our show captains, on the last night we always give them something as a thank you, because they've worked their arses off just to keep us going. And Chris Cope, bless him, he's going to be watching this, by the way, because I'm going to send it to him. He's asked to be mentioned. I think anyone in the know will probably know what's coming up. He called us his Scarevengers because he's a massive comic book fan. He loves his superheroes, and we were given superhero awards. We gave him, instead of a certificate, we gave him like a little Funko Pop toy, like a pop vinyl, of his favourite one, Deadpool, because he's a massive Deadpool fan. We called him the Deadpool Award. And it wasn't just that, it was in a little truck. And this was his reaction. It was literally like that, and he was jumping up and down, running around the top floor of the ruins, imagine how big they are, shouting and screaming because he was so excited that he got it. It was just so unreal, everyone just loved it. And also, we also had a certain Mr. Georgiadis came through again. We need to stop meeting like this, Andy. We need to stop meeting like this. He was filming his road trip to hell. Does anyone watch that series? Yeah? Did you see the Alton Towers episode? He says on his first run that we split him up. We didn't. He didn't have his hands on, he was at the back, he didn't hold on, and he walked slower than the group. So he was trying to make it out that we knew him, but we knew he was coming, and he did the extreme run, and we married him. And Andy, your wife's watching. She's watching you, so keep an eye out. And then also at Scarefest, I was part of Operation Lockdown, which was awesome. First time I walked into the subspecies maze, heard the music, saw everything, I was like, this is beautiful. I loved it. And getting the chance to be part of that attraction, part of an escape room, getting people walking through in hazmat suits and then covering them in blood if they made a noise, was awesome. Especially when you get on the first public night, Michael Bolton comes through. Thankfully, he's just left the room, so I can say this, but he screamed like a little girl. Found one lovely bit of dark patch. He had a red light shining in his face. I just jumped up. He didn't recognize me. He screamed so loud. I just literally wrapped my arms around him and covered him in blood. It was amazing. And also, Ryan, who's sitting in the middle. You remember this, don't you? You screamed, it kept screaming, so I was in my head, I started getting his ribs. And I was like, in my head, Ryan, stop screaming. If you keep screaming, I'm just going to keep covering you with blood. You're going to lose. But yeah, that was an absolutely amazing experience. If it ever returns, I don't know. But do it. Any escape room, actually, do it. They're brilliant. So, advice to fellow newbies, so you guys towards the back. Don't be afraid to jump straight in. I did. And look where I am now, standing on the stage holding a microphone. You could be here. No. In all seriousness, if you jump straight in, you're going to get loads out of it. It's amazing. It's a great industry to be part of. I'm so happy I did that first audition in 2011 to get knocked back, to then start working my way up, starting from the scare zones all the way up to a top scare maze. And an overnight experience, and I just want to keep going and going and going. Don't be afraid to feel silly. Most of my auditions has had me going around a room pretending to be a gorilla. The sillier you can be means you can get into your character more, and that's what I've learned. The more, just go with it. Just like the first time, don't be afraid to jump straight in. Go for it. Be prepared to fail. People react differently. You're going to do one scare, someone's going to be terrified they'll have a code brown. It's not pretty. Honestly, Terror of the Towers, first teenage girl that came across me, scared her that much, the smell you wouldn't have thought would have come from a teenage girl. You would not have thought it. You probably would have thought it would come from a middle-aged man. It was that bad. But yeah, you'll do that sort of scare, and then the next you'll do something similar, and the person will stand there and go, "You what, mate? Just get out of my way." And we have had those. Don't be afraid. It does happen. Yeah, I just lost my train of thought, it just went. Think outside the box, come up with different scares. Like what I did with Terror of the Towers, if I was going from the chapel in through to the dungeon, I'd actually climb on the slats and follow the group behind them, and they'd be like, "Where's he gone?" "Oh God, he's there. He's behind me." And then almost cause a domino. Has anyone, scarers in here, you had a domino effect? Woo! Where the front person goes down, and then the second one, and then the whole group will just fall over. Nearly had that, just by being taller than everyone else and just blocking the path. And this guy was like 6'5". So he wasn't expecting it. And the important thing is to have fun. It is the most fun you can have anywhere. Well, probably in other places you'll have fun, but I don't know about those yet. Those of you who know me, will know what I'm on about. But yeah, just go in. You will make friends for life. When I went into my first ScareCON, I met people who knew nothing about me, and that was 2013. I'm still in touch with them now. I feel even closer to them through Scarefest, other attractions. I've made more friends, and it just keeps going and going and going. So, where next? I'm going to do a little reveal of what I'll be doing, but where I'd like to go, I'd love to show Captain Towers. I'd love to. It's my local. I've been there from the beginning of my journey. That's what I want to do. I also want to coach and teach people. I want to go around to different companies and teach their scarers. And also, I'd love to create attractions as well. I'd love to get into the creative side. But for now, and coming up, I can leave you with this. I'm going to be part of Snuff House with Atmosphere. So that's that. Any questions? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Hello.